not everyone has this experience. However, I do get this question a lot from students, where can I find support while I'm on campus as a Black student, right? Some people like to go in with a plan, right? Where am I going to find support? Where am I going to find, people who look like me and have the same experiences? So where do you find support on your campus?
Especially for Black students, I would say it was hard for me at first because there was just not that much resources, or like the resources that were open or available prior to COVID were all like done with or like locked, like ended off by the time like things were opening up. But ways I feel like I was able to find support was kind of reaching out like my comfort zone, like kind of finding like random people on like LinkedIn that were like professional and were like, okay, like cold calling, like reaching out, like, okay, like, hey, like I see you're like Black and like you're living, like you have like your degree, like were you able to survive like at UWM or just in Milwaukee in general? Or like luckily like my school, they had like the multicultural mentoring program, since there's not a lot of like diverse students at Lubar. So luckily they was able to like connect me with like my mentor. She's Black too, so it was great. So then they were able to connect me with her, and even then she was able to like kind of be like that resource, like, okay, this is how I feel like here, living here, like as a Black like student in Milwaukee. And she was able to like relate or like give me advice about how to go to like certain matters. And also like joining like clubs too. Like when I did the BSU, I didn't really know anybody, but like that's how I was able to like meet my other friends. And like now we're all this, like, all of us are Black and not like struggling, but like going through this together. So kind of just pushing yourself out of comfort zone for sure, as especially as like an out-of-state student.
No, for sure. And I love that you took that initiative and actually did that research. That's brilliant, but I think that's you as well. So I'm curious, like, what are some ways that, let's say someone's super shy, and this is off script, we have not gone over this question before, but how would you say, like, for someone who was an introvert like myself growing up in college, what's some advice you could give to them to kind of look past the fear of, someone rejecting their question or saying no to them? Like, what are some ways that, or what is some advice for them?
I'll always say like things like, I know for me, like especially like with me and my mom, like we always talk about like things happen for a reason. So like if you're facing like rejection or like no now, like it's always gonna be replaced with something way better. Like every time I've like always experienced something where it's like, oh, we don't need you, or like, oh, actually no, that might not work. It was always replaced by something that was like 100 times better. So I always kind of just think about like, okay, this might be like the stumbling block because I know like something better is to come.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
even,
for sure.
Yeah, like, and even then, like even as like being like shy, I don't know, I feel like I had to like put myself in that, like, okay, like I don't know how to describe it, but like it's like this small moment, like would it matter like years from now, like, or would it even matter like next week, like, because sometimes I've had some like moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like my life is over, and then the whole time like the next week I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
I love your advice. Your advice is gold right now. I think you should like write a book, just start collecting some of these tips that you have for students for sure. And I'm just looking forward to students, commenting on how great your advice is and just, giving you kudos, because that you just helped someone, that might be too shy to do something, and that's going to change their life forever. I love how you kind of like made it small, right? That a stumbling block is what you called it. You made it so small and kind of minute and like the grand scheme of your journey or your life. And that's a really good way to look at things. I'm going to take that. Thank you. I'm going to take that for myself. So I love the advice that you gave for sure. And here at Inquire Higher, we're all about, putting out resources, tips, advice, and also highlighting how individuals are paying it forward. So what are some ways, as a successful college student, what are some ways that you're paying it forward now?
I would most definitely say I'm like always trying to like seek out and help. Like I know there's like a lot of like, even like being an RA, like the main thing you're doing is like advising and just like helping, like, okay, how do I get to like this point, or what are some of the steps I could take to get to this point? Like, even if I can't do it, like, okay, I'm like, maybe this might be a better resource for you. So then like, obviously, like I took those skills and like with all of my friends or like just people around me that I know that like, okay, like I want this opportunity, like and I know you kind of got somewhere like a little bit similar to where like I want to be kind of similar to where you're at right now. So I kind of just obviously like assist like, okay, like what are some of the things that you're looking for in like a future internship job, and kind of just like help them like kind of put together those qualities so they can like know how to speak, like kind of like broadcast or like talk about their goals. Cause like once it's kind of like, you know what you want, but like you don't know how to like formulate, or like you don't know where to start on like how to get there. So like I always try to be like, okay, like maybe you could try this, kind of like brainstorming and like being collaborative in their own goals. Cause like you can't control like what they want to do. So kind of just being there is like, okay, like if you need any like help, like I'm always here. So
that's awesome. So basically making sure that people know that you're approachable, and that you're willing to give any advice or tips that you can, because you're right, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you could be digging for research or whatever, and you can't find where to even start. And sometimes it's nice to just be able to talk to that other person that's in the space that you want to be, and asking them, hey, what advice could you give me in my current role? I want to get to where you're at. How can I grow? What are some steps that I can take?
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. That's amazing. All right. So thank you so much for answering all of those difficult questions there. Now's time for the fun questions. Now, I have to remind our audience not to judge. However, we're judging a little bit. We're judging a little bit. We're all guilty of this question that I have first. But what's one thing about you that might get your Black card revoked?
I would most definitely say I haven't watched all the key Black movies. Like I fully haven't watched Baby Boy. I haven't watched Love and Basketball. I fully haven't watched Boys and Her. Like, it's like it's playing in the background, but I haven't really like sat down and actually tried to watch that movie. I know. But like most of like, the movies that everybody's talking about, when they're like, oh yeah, like this movie, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't really watched that.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Okay. And I was going to try to cover it up, but I've been feeling a little guilty. There was a guest that we had on here, and she's like, I don't know how to play spades. And I'm like, you don't know how to play spades? In the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't either. So I don't even think I would be eligible for a Black card at this moment if I, I'm just giving up. I'm joking. But no, that's it. Hey, you're going to have to like space them out, right? So like maybe once a month, every other month. I don't know. But
no, this next year I'm trying to catch up, because everybody's like talking about this. Is like, oh, I want like they talk about seeing Love and Basketball. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, come on. You haven't seen Love and Basketball though.
I haven't.
Oh man.
I haven't.
Okay. Christmas break, winter break, you have some time. I don't know if you're flying back, what you can do, but during that trip, start with that one. Definitely start with that one for sure. All right. And then our second question is, what is your favorite Disney movie?
My favorite Disney movie? Ooh.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it is, because there's so much ones. Like, okay. Ooh, I feel like throughout like me, I'm like, I always had like different ones, right? I'm not gonna lie. I think now I would say has to be Coco. That movie's good.
Coco, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I know I'm old. I'm over here like
that was like the newer ones, because I was watching it with like the kids I used to babysit with, and that was so good.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
That movie's so good.
See, I have to like base mine on, but no, Coco's pretty good too. But I have to base mine sometimes on soundtracks. So like, okay, Princess and the Frog, that soundtrack, that's a good one. You can't mess with that one. It's between that and Beauty and the Beast for me. And Beauty and the Beast, there's a disclaimer. It's because I received my first I'm really old. The VHS tapes.
Really? Oh, I actually had the VHS tape of
Do you really?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I had like little VHS TVs, and then I would like watch Beauty and the Beast on it too.
There you go. Okay, then we're good. Okay. Yeah. No judging here. Okay, perfect. We're good. All right, Victoria, it was a pleasure chatting with you. If any of you out there would like to chat with Victoria, her information will be on our website, inquirehigher.com. That's higher as in higher education. But thank you so much, Victoria, for taking the time. We appreciate all of your wisdom. We look forward to
Thank
catching up
you.
with you in the future. Good luck on your internship. I
Thank
know
you.
you are sounds like a pretty good internship. Maybe in the future you guys can come by and tell us a little bit more about that. But
Of course.
if you want to come back, you're always welcome. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.